setting a proper motivation, which consists of 3 parts. Refuge field. Visualize all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, particularly Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, in front of you, and all enlightened beings. And how you visualize them is very important. They're like your parents, and you come home demoralized, and your parents are waiting there with full love, affection, attention, and so forth. Bodhiji the field. Visualize your 2 grandparents on the 2 sides, and all your family members, all Dhamma sentient beings. And how you visualize them. Here you are the mother, and all others are like your children. Imagine you come home, and they come home demoralized, and you are there to give full love, affection, attention, and so forth, to the extent that each one of them feels themselves as so special in your eyes. And the purpose of this class is to learn, first of all, that the ultimate source of happiness exists within each one of us, and that this potential is obscured by the mental defilements, and the mental defilements are rooted to this self-grasping ignorance and the subtle stains reflected in the form of self-centered attitude. And they can best be remedied by resorting to the wisdom of emptiness, by the force or motivated by renunciation and bodhicitta. With that in mind, let's turn to page 2. And imagine that you are leading this, and all beings are joining us so happily, and all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they are watching us. And tears with great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And tears by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And tears by great compassion, to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no going, no separateness, and no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is the freedom of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the Buddhas and of the hearers and Bodhisattvas, who through the knowledge of all lays here seeking pacification to complete peace, who through the knowledge of past causes was helping my greatest to achieve the aims of the world, and through the possession of omniscience, the subduer set forth the varieties having all aspects. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings. The teacher, Sugata and protector, to your administrations. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays. To you, the Buddha, I make prostrations. Page 7. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. To the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, by my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. To the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, by my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. To the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, by my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sangye choda soge chonam la chanchu bardo dane gyapsuch nage jinso gebe chonam ge dola penjire sangye rubare shu sangye choda soge chon dane gyapsuch nage jinso gebe chonam ge dola penjire sangye rubare shu Sangye choda soge chonamla chanjo bardo dane gyapsuch dage jinso gebe sonamge dola penjire sangye rubare shu all phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata, the cessation of causes as well as taught by the great seer. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham tathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham tathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham tathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Page 17, Harsutra mantra. So this mantra is so precious. If you can recite it wherever you are, for sick people, who are deceased, who are going through, say, tragedies and so forth. If you can recite this mantra, this would be so beneficial. And so here, visualize your two parents and everyone joining you happily, and you are leading this. And imagine that you are taking everyone to us from the misery to the state of ultimate happiness. Deyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasangati Bodhi Swaha Tyata 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 Om Gati 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 Parasangati Bodhi Swaha. It was my training, page 19. With the determination to achieve the highest aim for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the wish-fulfilling gem, may I hold them dear at all times. Whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as a lowest amongst all, and from the very depths of my heart, respectfully hold others as superior. In all my deeds, may I probe into my mind, and as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avert them. When I see beings of unpleasant character, or pressed by strong negativity and suffering, may I hold them dear, for they are rare to find, as if I have discovered a jewel treasure. When others out of jealousy treat me wrong with abuse, slander and scorn, when someone whom I have helped or in whom I have placed great hopes mistreats me in extremely hurtful ways, may I regard him still as my precious teacher. In brief, may I offer a benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all hers and pains of my mothers. May all this remain undefiled by the stains of 8 mundane concerns, and by recognizing all things as illusions, devoid of clinging, be released from bondage. From my twinkle actions, vast space that have amassed, from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds wisdom is blinded by ignorance. Okay, 5 minutes in meditation. Okay. For this, I don't see the need for any instruction here. Okay, so it's going to be 5 minutes breathing meditation, and or any other meditation that you may like to do. One thing that I like to emphasize here is the body posture wise, always try to maintain uprightness. Same, if you can make it a habit to sit upright, particularly during the meditation. One, and eyes should not be closed. Eyes half open, 45 degrees cast down. And your mind should be, mental consciousness should be meditating. All the eyes, your eyes are open, but your mental consciousness should be meditating. One, and then breathe naturally. Don't impose on your breath. Don't control your breath. Don't force your breath. And your body should not be rigid. So while your body is upright, there must be flexibility there. So oftentimes, particularly for beginners, there is a tendency that as we keep our body upright, we tend to tighten up our body. One. Then for the actual meditation, for whatever kind of meditation that we might be doing, to be mindful, to guard the mind from the two errors of meditation. That is extremely important. Mental laxity and mental excitement. That is extremely important. Whatever meditation that you might be doing, single point meditation, for say like breathing meditation, Buddha image meditation, or the awareness meditation, or the focusing on the vital parts of the body and so forth. Whatever you're meditating, one must guard one's mind from the two errors, laxity and mental scattering or mental excitement. And for that matter, we need to employ the two remedies, mental introspection and mindfulness. Okay, this is what we have to really take care of. Otherwise, generally speaking, if somebody is doing good meditation, then the longer the duration, meaning the more the number of the days, months, years you meditate, better it is. But for someone who has been doing it wrongly, in the wrong manner, then the more the duration, or the more the number of the days, months and years, more the bad habit that you are cultivating, and then to undo that is very difficult. So right from the beginning, make sure that your mind is free from the two errors, mental scattering and mental laxity. Okay, with that in mind, 5 minutes. today it's page 31 of the textbook. Page 31 of the textbook, chapter 11. So this is the chapter on analyzing the time. Analyzing the time. In fact, we see that we live in time and we live in space. We live in time and we live in space. Oftentimes, when we think about how things are illusion-like, how things are illusion-like, how things don't exist objectively. First of all, this is the deep conviction that we need to cultivate. The conviction that somehow all the miseries which we dislike, any form of miseries, somehow they're connected with, rooted to one, the contaminated actions, particularly the 10 non-virtuous actions, and how they boil down to the afflictions. They are triggered by the afflictions, negative emotions, the three poisons: attachment, aversion, and ignorance. And then how these three in turn are given rise to by the ignorance, self-grasping ignorance, and hand in hand with the self-centered attitude. So these two things together give rise to all the other afflictions. So we see that knowing that finally it is the ignorance which is responsible for all our miseries. This is actually what we need to reflect on more often, so that the desire, the more the conviction that you've gained that this self-grasping ignorance is responsible for all my miseries. And of course, this is more like the more kind of like a circular kind of reflection. And to gain conviction in this, again, you need to have little experience of emptiness. One needs to have a little bit of the experience of emptiness, without which you will not really feel how the self-grasping ignorance is responsible for all our, negative emotions and the miseries and so forth. Well, we need to have some exposure to emptiness, one. And with this experience, a little bit of experience of emptiness, how things don't exist, then the conviction that self-grasping ignorance is at the core of my all miseries. It becomes very prominent, particularly when we actually go through tragedies, when we actually go through miseries. Okay, and we are bound to go through all these miseries one time or the other. We are bound to go through these miseries in one form or the other, one time or the other, in one place or the other. This is what's bound to happen. So, and all these miseries somehow they're rooted to. They happen when we interact with the world. When we interact with the world, and how we interact, that is imbued with the misconception of the reality, ignorance. We interact with the world in space and in time. In space and time. And beyond these two, there's nothing really there. So we interact with the world in space and in time. So, and yet we see the time in space. For example, if I look at this flower, I'm looking at the space. The space, not this, the empty space, not this empty space, but something which occupies a space there, a dimension, space dimension there. And one thing is the time, space and time. And when we interact with the physical objects or the mental in space and time, we see them as intrinsically real, objectively real. So that is ignorance. We interact with the world in space and time, and what we see of the space and time, we see them as so intrinsically, so objectively real. So, in reality, as opposed to objectivity, things exist subjectively, which means from the object, things are all empty. On the contrary, we see all things as objectively real. Within time, or within space. Oftentimes, when we then explore how my conception misleads me, seeing things as objectively real. So there, we tend to subject the analysis on the reality mostly on the basis of the physical, the space. This is what we do. And it would be equally very powerful if we can do the same analysis with time. So chapter 11 here, and Aryadeva, the teacher of the author, Aryadeva also analyzed time, and the author here, Aryadeva, also analyzes the time here to inform us that even the time in which we live is also empty of objective reality, is also like illusion. It's quite scary. It's quite scary, particularly when we see the time as like illusion. It's very scary. It's very scary. And in fact, as a background to this chapter, I like to do a little bit of, explanation on how the time is illusion-like. And if we can have the understanding of how the time is like illusion, is not really from the object, nothing exists from the object, we see the time as illusion coming from the subject. This we can apply to the mind. What we are consisted of? We consisted of the physical body, that exists in time and space, but our mind exists only in time. Our mind exists only in time, and then we adhere more strongly to the mind rather than the physical. And what happens is that some people they are infatuated, they're obsessed with the physical things individually, that I, me. So we tend to identify ourselves more with the physical body. And then when somebody goes deeper into this analysis, deeper into this reality, then the person will see that physical body is okay, it's ephemeral, it disintegrates, okay, it's fine. And then you tend to cling to the mind. So this is a tendency. This is a tendency where as the person matures in this very refined analysis, then from this grasping obsession to the physical body, personal identifying yourself with the physical body, then you go into the identifying yourself with the mind. And physical body, to see this as illusion-like. That is more in the context of the space. The space, we can of course do that in the context of the time, but the physical body, we oftentimes do that, subject this to analysis on the basis of the space. But whereas with the mind exists only in time, it does not exist in space. Physical body exists in both ways, space as well as mind. Space as well as time. Whereas the mind exists only in time. So if we know how to apply, how to subject the time to this analysis of the emptiness, then we can easily apply this to a mind, and the practice is extremely, extremely powerful. So oftentimes the great enlightened beings, they distinguish the two things: subjecting the analysis of the emptiness to the physical body and to the mind, and saying that the meditation on emptiness associated to the mind is much, much, much more effective in counteracting our negative emotions. So that is much more efficient. Okay, but what I would say is that it would be good to start slow. Don't just jump there, and take a very safe and slow steps to reach there. First, to acquire knowledge, there's no harm. And actually practicing it, if somebody jumps to the practice directly, it might have, say one may not be able to do it properly. There is little danger that the fear, amount of the fear that you might get would be quite intense. Okay, so let me first begin by saying that time. We see time as very intrinsic. We see time as very intrinsic, and time is something, one which is so visible. At the same time, it is very hidden. Time. Say the flower is so visible there. It's so tangible, visible there. So although we speak about Sunday is holiday, so I can go to Tibet house for class, or Sunday is holiday. So we talk about the time. And then, this flower is very nice, I like it. So this flower is something very tangible. We speak about the time is not as tangible as the flower. So the more we analyze what time is and so forth, then the time tends to disappear. We cannot really forget about emptiness about it, forget about seeing the emptiness of the time. If the time per se, as the object, we cannot really see what it is like. Likewise, the mind is very, elusive. The time is also very elusive. And the mind is also very elusive. While the mind, it is, at one point, it's very intense. And same with the jealousy and so forth, it becomes very intense, very strong. When you actually want to see where this mind is, again, it's very elusive, it disappears. You cannot really find it. So unlike the physical thing. So with the time which is not really tangible as such, if we're able to see the illusion-like nature of the time, then we can apply this very efficiently to the mind. But as I warned earlier, we must take very safe steps to reach there. Okay. One of the classical Indian traditions, or maybe, let's say the philosophers, they have a belief that time is the creator of the universe. Time is the creator of the universe. Some say that, in fact, if we really reflect, ponder on these points, on these philosophers, they are really something. They are really amazing. They are really amazing. They come to such amazing conclusion. Some say that the matter, the particles are the creator of the universe. They are being very practical. Very practical. They say that the particles, they are the creator of the universe. Universe is created by the particles. And then, whereas others would say that time is the creator of the universe. Time is the creator of the universe. Okay, let's say the flower, the beautiful flower, we put, what is required for flower? To grow flower. What are the factors required? Any idea? Seed is required, sunlight is required, water is required, carbon dioxide is required. Then what else? What do you mean to care? So putting these things in a proper way, this care, right? And then soil is required. Good quality soil is required. What else? Nutrition is required. Okay, nutrition. Okay, let's put all of them together. Let us put all this together, right? And then tomorrow, rose coming out. Yes, no? What is required? Time is required. We have to wait. Right? We have to wait. Okay. Now, in some cases, say and there are flowers, and they are, say, the mangoes grow in which month?
Month of July or August.
Okay,
Depending on the variety from April onwards.
Okay, Alfonso
probably May onwards.
May onwards.
Yeah.
December also?
No.
Then?
Till August, I'm saying.
Okay. May till August, let's say.
I'm not sure what I'm guessing. Maybe she's
Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, May, August. Okay, let's say May. Let's say May, right? Even if you plant, say, you plant the tree, and then the tree grows huge, and then it already grows some mangoes. For the next mango will come only next year, not in between. So we have to wait till the right time, right? There is a specific time there intrinsically. There's a time there. It's not a matter of imputation. There's a time there intrinsically. Objectively, there's a time there which determines the growth of the Alfonso mango, right? It's a very specific. Let's say May, not otherwise. Okay. So time is so powerful, is the factor dependent upon which all other things come into existence. One. So without the time, things cannot exist. So the time is seen as the creator of the entire universe. Okay. So the more we see the need for the time, the involvement of the time, the more we tend to see the time as objectively real. You getting it? This is so important. This is so important. Okay. And without the time, involvement of time, then the functionalities makes no sense. Functions make no sense. Functions means that things, say initially the AC was not operating, and then you put on the switch, where the AC was very silent, you put on the switch and the AC starts working, operating. So from the time which was not operating, and then because of the switching on the button, then it starts operating. So there's a time. Time is involved. Without the time involved, the change is not possible. Without the change, the impermanence is not possible. Without impermanence, then the functionality is not possible, right? So the whole functionality that we witness is all because of the existence of the time. Okay, so we see that the time, and many of the philosophers, they see that time is the final creator of the entire universe. So now with this, we see that
time may be a condition, but it is not a component.
okay, so let's say the time does exist. But let's say the time does exist as long as you have the feeling that the time does exist, right? For example, 2016, it exists or not? It existed. It existed. So as long as you know that time does exist, that's good enough. And then, okay, say, then our job is to see how time appears to a mind, right? Appears to a mind as so objectively real, and then see how to see that as illusion. So how to see that as illusion. Okay, that is whole purpose. That's whole purpose. Once you know how to see the time as illusion-like, then you can apply the mind to this. You can apply this mind also in a similar fashion, the way we do with the time for the mind, and then we will start seeing the mind as also illusion-like. Okay. With this in mind, one of the analysis employed by the great scholars, by the great saint scholars of the past, like Aryadeva, then Aryadeva, then Bodhisattva Aryadeva, then Acharya Aryadeva, all these masters, when they were subjecting the time to analysis, to see whether time exists as objectively real, or to see whether time exists as like illusion coming from a mind, right? The first thing that we need to keep in mind, okay, this is more technical. One thing that we need to keep in mind is that in our mind, in the ordinary minds, anything that appears to a mind, whether to the mental consciousness or to the sensory consciousness, anything that appears to a mind should necessarily appear as objectively real, right? Anything that comes to a mind, including the dream, things should necessarily appear as objective real. Now to put it, say very precisely, logically, precisely. Okay, this is more technical. Except for the non-dual wisdom of emptiness, except for the non-dual wisdom, except for the non-dual mind, I would say, except for the non-dual mind of emptiness, all minds are deceptive, or let's say all minds are mistaken with respect to seeing things as objectively real. Right? Okay, what did I say? Except for the non-dual, I did not say wisdom, except for the non-dual mind of emptiness. I deliberately said as a mind, not the wisdom. Except for the non-dual mind of emptiness, all minds are mistaken. All minds are mistaken, right? Okay, how many of you, under what situation, under what occasion, you have the non-dual wisdom of non-dual mind of the emptiness? What occasion? When? Okay, so for us, 24/7 is mistaken. 24/7 our minds are mistaken. 24/7 our minds are mistaken, right? Okay. So how do we know? What do you mean by mistaken? Okay, first of all, to know this fully, we have to have some understanding of what emptiness is. And before that, I'll have to give the analogy. Okay. How many of you can tell me that in your dream, when you were dreaming, your mind is mistaken? When you were dreaming, your mind is mistaken. How many of you would agree with me? Okay, how many of you would explain to others as to how our mind is mistaken when we are dreaming? Anyone? Tejala, you want to say? The question is, how can you say that our mind is mistaken when your mind is dreaming? Anyone? Yes, over there?
I can explain the process, like how one do that thought process while you're dreaming. I've experienced a couple of times, and when I woke up, I deliberately paid attention to why our mind dreams. So my perception and my analysis was that before you sleep, and what you thought and what you worked on during the day, in your subconscious
No, first let us be very precise. My question is, how can you say that, in what way you are saying that your mind is mistaken when you are dreaming? This is my question. It's very precise. I'm not asking the mechanism, how the dream occurs, how the dream is mistaken.
I was just giving you a slight...
No, let us make it very precise, because
yes,
we have only about 30 minutes more.
Yes, so precisely it's just sort of, you can say a dream which is a thought which is there in your mind, you just exaggerate it to some...
Very good. Okay, this is the point. In your dream, your mind exaggerates. Your mind exaggerates means your mind tries to superimpose something which does not really exist here. Very good. Okay, anyone else? Anyone else? The question is, how can you say that your mind is mistaken when you are dreaming? Hazel?
So whatever appears to the mind in the dream, we believe that it's actually there, it's happening for real, while actually we are dreaming. So in that sense, we are mistaken. So what is appearing does
Okay,
not tally with
let's.
reality.
We're all listening to you. Try to make it so succinct and so precise. You put it correctly. What's your name? Amit? Amit Sikri. Okay. What Amit Sikri said is correct. What Tejala you said is correct. But I'm just wondering, anyone who listens to you, can very quickly, very easily understand that yes, what she said is correct, what he said is correct. But can you put it in a way where anybody listens to you? I see, that's true. Okay, can we say something? You put it nicely, yeah. Anyone else? Well, the question is very simple. It's not at all philosophy. Question is very simple. Question is, one, when you were dreaming, was your mind, the dreaming mind, mistaken or not mistaken?
Mistaken.
Mistaken. The next question. In what way your mind is mistaken when your mind is dreaming? This is my question. Anyone else? Yes, exactly, this is what is required. So, in the dream, you see something, you see things as so real. Real meaning which is not a dream. In actuality, it is not real, it is dream, right? So, what you see and reality, there is a stark contrast. In the dream, you see things as so real, not as dream. And the reality is the opposite of how that was seen. It was, in actuality, dream. So, there's a contrast between the reality and the appearance. So, therefore, it is mistaken. So, the mistaken mind is what? A mind where there is a discrepancy between appearance, how things appear to the mind, and how things exist. When the discrepancy there between appearance and reality, this is known as the mistaken mind. The mind is mistaken. You're getting it? Okay. Now tell me, when will you come to discover that your dreaming mind was mistaken? In the dream or outside the dream? Why not in the dream? Or let's say, how do you discover that when you come out of the dream? When you wake up, how do you discover that? In what way you discover that? Will you come to discover that what I was seeing was not real? I thought it was real, but it was dream, right? Okay, so the reality was dream, and what I was seeing was as non-dream. So you discover the discrepancy only when you wake up. You're getting it? Okay, likewise, okay, how many of you have been in Tibet house since you're coming here today? For how many hours? For how many minutes? Anyone? Those who attended this morning session? 6 hours. Okay, let's say 6.5 hours. Total 6 hours, right? Okay, you were here for 6 hours. It's quite short or quite long? What? So, from your point of view, it's very short time. Okay, let's say short time, or someone may say that is a long time, right? Okay, it's fine. So there is a time, right? There is a time. And this time, amount of the time that is spent, say some of you, maybe like for you may have spent about like 1 hour, for others maybe like half an hour, for others maybe like 6 hours. Whatever time spent that is spent, okay, just reflect on that time. Whatever amount of time that you spend, just think about that. Think about that time, 6 hours or half an hour or whatever. Think about it. Okay, I entered in this hall at 10 o'clock or 9:45, or say 9:30. Now it's like 6.5 or 7. For others, I entered this 1 hour ago or 45 minutes ago. So now it's say 4:30, right? Okay, so you have a concept of a time span that you were here. Okay, so this time span, you see that like a dream or it's real time span. It's a real duration of time, or it's like a dream. How does that time appear to your mind? As so real. Okay, now if you see that is illusion-like, it's very scary. Literally, it's very scary, right? It's very scary, but there's no harm in learning this. To learn this, it may not leave any effect on you. Learn this. Once you learn this and you subject to this, to reflection, then you will start to see it meaning mentally you will start to see this. The first time that you experience it, it's like illusion is not really there. It's so scary. It's very scary, right? Okay. Yet we plunge into this kind of analysis not for the sake of experiencing the fear, right? To dissolve the fear. And why the fear comes is because the new thought process, which is coming newly, a revolutionized version of your thought process, that is directly in contradiction with our habitual chronic thought process. So there's a clash happening, and we feel so comfortable. We feel so comfortable with the habitual chronic way of thinking about the time. We're so comfortable with it because we live with this thought process for eons and eons and eons. So we feel so comfortable, although we'll discover that this is the poison. This is not really to be feel comfortable with. This is a poison, right? So anyway, the thing is that, say if you say you are a friend with someone, person A, and a person A and person B, these two, you see the contrast between the two. And the moment person B comes closer to you, person A is very unhappy with the person B, right? And you discover that person B is so nice and person A is always taking advantage of you. Later on, when you discover that, initially, when the person A dislikes person B, you will also try to push person B away from you. Then slowly you discover the true reality of the two persons. Then you see that person A is the one who is actually destroying you, right? Okay, likewise, our habitual thought processes, they are like the person A, you being always with that. And then the new thought process which you are building now, seeing even the time as illusion-like. So that thought process is something coming to us for the first time, and it's very scary because we feel so comfortable with the opposite thinking, right? So over time, we see that the more we think about the illusionary nature of the time, the more peaceful that we feel. That we have never experienced such a peace as before. Right? Before. Okay. So then slowly we will see that we will adopt seeing the time as illusion-like. Then the amount of confidence, of the fearlessness that will come to us is so grounded and very stable and very firm. Okay, this is so precious. Okay, with this mind, say time. Time is consisted of 3 parts. Right? Time is consisted of 3 parts. Okay, with this background, then later on, perhaps the next Sunday, I don't know, next Sunday I'll be here, no?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Next Sunday when we do the technical text here, reading text, then we should have this background of how the time is illusion-like, then things will be easier there. Okay, so the time, in order to qualify something as a time, it should necessarily have 3 components, the beginning, middle, and end. Or it should necessarily have 3 components, the past, present, and the future. You get it? This is so important. If something does not have these 3 components, it is not a time. That we should be confident, that we should have the clarity and conviction in, that if something does not have the 3 components, the past, present, and future, however tiny, however short a span of time it might be, it should necessarily have 3 components, the past, present, and future. Or in other words, beginning, middle, and end. This is so important. Okay, and keep in mind that time is something undeniably existent. If time is non-existent, the functionality makes no sense. If the functionality makes no sense, suffering, happiness, and so forth makes no sense. So time is finally the fabric of the existence of the functionalities. Okay, with this mind, just let us listen to the sound of the gong. Let us listen to the sound of the gong, right? Okay. Just listen to this. You don't have to analyze anything. Just listen to this, but don't close your eyes. If you close your eyes and this sound is so pleasant, and you will go into a very sound sleep, right? So please don't close your eyes. Just listen to it and keep observing it, what the sound is like. Okay. Just keep observing it. Okay, let me do it again. Okay, thus far, no homework. Now homework. Now additional homework. I will hit the gong. Your job is to see if the sound that you're hearing has a past, present and future, 3 components. To see whether this sound has these 3 components. Okay, ready? Okay, I'll hit it again. Okay, now I will take the next one. It's a little easier. See if there's a flow happening. Flow, the present moment changing into the past, the future moment changing into the present, and the present moment changing into the past. Okay, if there's a flow, stream happening. Okay, let's do this again. Okay, does it have the flow? The future changing into present, present changing into the past.
Where is the future, Geshe?
Huh?
Where is the future?
Okay, say at the moment it's what? Say when we started class at 10 a.m. in the morning, right? So now 4:30. 4:35. 4:35 is future with respect to the 10. Right? You're getting it? Okay, this is how we have to see the future. Okay, so now, do you see the flow? Did you see the flow? Flow means it should have flow. By the very label flow, it should have 3 components. The past, present and the future. Future flows into present, present flows into the past. Present becomes the past. You getting it? Okay. So now, don't forget this. Let me begin by saying that time is undeniably existent phenomenon. You agree with me or not? Time is undeniably existent phenomenon. Don't forget it. Okay. We cannot deny the existence of time. If you deny the existence of time, then we go crazy. All right? We have to just contradict. We have to denounce the functionalities of the world, or the realities of the world. Time is an undeniable fact. Okay. Now, in the process of this analysis that we're going to employ, we will come to discover that time is not findable. Time is not findable, right? Don't forget it. Time is not findable. Okay. Time exists only if there is past time, present time, and future time. Outside these 3 times, there's no time. You agree with me or not? Okay. And the future, say act of generosity. Act of generosity, there are 3 components. One is, okay, it also has 4 components, 3 components, 2 components. Let's say 3 components. One is you as the benefactor, and then the beneficiary, the person who receives the benefit from you, beneficiary, and the act of benefiting, 3 components, right? So let's say that these 3 components, these 3, of the 3 components, which is most important? Which is most important for this act of generosity to happen? Which of the 3 components is most important? Huh? There is no one factor which is most important. These 3 are all mutually dependent. They are all mutually dependent. If the benefactor is not there, who's going to benefit? So nobody is going to benefit. Nobody is going to receive the benefit. So the beneficiary makes no sense, because act of benefiting is not happening. Whereas if the benefactor is there, benefactor meaning the person who wants to give, but there's no one to receive the benefit, then the act of benefiting is not happening. If the act of benefiting is not there, then the benefactor makes no sense. Even if somebody is very generously there, to be very generous, and a person who needs the benefit are also there, but the actual benefiting is not happening, right? There is no communication happening. Then the person, although very generous, person is not the benefactor. Although very poor seeking benefit, person not the beneficiary, right? So these 3 are mutually dependent. Likewise, past, present, and future, these 3 are mutually dependent. These 3 are mutually dependent, right? In the absence of, say, the past, present and future makes no sense. Because present is only with respect to the past. Only with respect to the past we can speak of the present. Only with respect to the present we can speak about the future. Only with respect to the future we can speak about the past. So these 3 are mutually dependent. Now, if any of these 3 is missing, then the whole 3 will crumble, or whole 3 will makes no sense. Okay. Now for that, the kind of the analysis being employed by the great novel masters is to locate the present. Of the 3 times, we've been most obsessed with which of the 3? Past, present, or the future? The future, younger ones will go for the future. Then, okay, the middle ones will go into the present, and the elders will go for the past. Elders will talk about the past all the time. Okay, let's say there is oftentimes a mention of be in the present moment, right? Be in the present moment. Okay, so the present is the same. Past is memory. The future is unpredictable. What you have is the present moment. Don't waste this present moment. You're getting it? Okay, this is a very important statement and very important advice, which means that the present is so important. But this analysis will let us to discover something very different, which is so important. The moment we say the present is so important, the past is gone. You cannot do anything with it. Future is unpredictable. What you have in your mind is what you have in your hand is the present. So present, you use it productively, right? This is the fact. But we're going to discover something very different. That the more we see the importance of this, what is happening is that the more we see the present as objectively real, the more we tend to objectify the present moment, and this is a fact. Okay. Now, as we analyze, as we do the analysis, we will come to see where the present moment is. Where the present moment is. Okay. First, let me do very theoretically. Then we will look for the present moment with respect to the sound of the gong. You're getting it? First, let me do it a little theoretically, so that we'll be prepared for the actual, say, meditation. The present saying, do you agree with me that time should necessarily have three components: beginning, middle, and end? You agree with me or not? Okay, if it is not too clear in your mind, just tell me you're not too clear. I'm not sure whether time should necessarily have, there may be the tiniest moment of time which does not have the beginning, middle, and end. You may think of that, right? Okay, so do you agree with me that 2017 has three moments: beginning, middle, and end? January 2017 is the beginning, December 2017 is the end, and at the moment it is the middle. You agree with me or not? This is symbol. Okay, so without the January 2017, December 2017, 2017 makes no sense, because 2017 should necessarily have 12 months. You agree with me or not? Okay, good. Now, if we think about the 2017, the beginning is gone. You agree with me or not?
Yes.
Hey,
Yes.
end is yet to come. 2017, end is yet to come.
Yes.
You're getting it? Okay. So we are going through what? We're going through the present moment of the 2007 middle, beginning, middle, and end. We are going through the middle. Okay. Now let's say the middle what? They say October. October, yes. Even October, which is middle, which is somewhere in between January and December. Even October also has a beginning, middle, and end. You agree with me or not?
Yes.
October, day 1, 1st of October. 1st of October is the beginning, then the 30th, 31st. 31st of October is the end. Okay, so the 1st of October is gone, beginning is gone, and 31st of October is yet to come. You agree with me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, now we are going through what? Which day? Which date? 8th of October, right? 8th of October started when? 1 a.m.? 12 p.m. a.m. Okay, 12 a.m. Okay. Huh? a.m. p.m. Okay, how many say a.m.? How many say p.m.? Okay. So midnight 12 is the 12 a.m., right? And the midday 12 is the 12 p.m. Okay, so that standard we have to follow. Okay, let's say the 8th of October is the middle between the 1st of October and somewhere in the middle, the 31st of October, right? Now, 8th of October also has a beginning, middle, and end. You agree with me or not?
Yes.
Okay, beginning is when? 12 a.m. of 8th October, and end is 11:59 p.m. of
8th of October.
okay, 11:59 p.m. of 8th of October. So the beginning was gone, and is yet to come. Again, we're in the middle. So if I go like this, can you imagine? You will reach to a time where it does not have a beginning, middle, and end. Can you imagine a time? We will reach a time where there is no beginning, middle, and end. Okay, good. If you say no, that time should necessarily have three components, if you get this feeling, which means that you get some understanding of what a time is. What a time is. So time means something which should necessarily have three components: beginning, middle, and end. Don't forget it. You getting it? Okay. Now let's do the exercise here. Right? Okay, listen to this and just listen to this, and I'll ask the question later. Okay, listen to this. Okay, so now the next thing is not only listen, you listen to it and just experience the sound, just observe what you are experiencing. I'm not asking what you experienced. Experience is what? Past. Experienced is past. I'm not talking about the past. Don't worry about the past. I'm not talking about what you should anticipate. Don't think about what you're going to experience. Okay. Which bothers you the most? The pain that you had, that you had, say, 2001, or the pain you're going to have in 2031, or the pain that you're having now. Which of the three bothers you the most? Tell me. Now, right? You getting it? Okay. So, what, 2001? Okay, it's past now. I don't care about it. 2031 is so far away, right? Okay. What happens? Who knows? Okay. At the moment, that is something which is I really need to take care of, right? The present. Also, past, present, future, we are actually most bothered or concerned about the present moment. You getting it? Okay. So now our job is to listen to this, forget about the past, forget about the future, and just observe what you are experiencing of the sound. You getting it? What you are experiencing. This is my question. What you are experiencing of the sound. Okay, listen to this. Okay, listen to this again. What you are experiencing, right? Okay, while I'm hitting, while the sound is on, I will ask a question and you give me an answer. Are you experiencing the sound? How many of you said yes? How many of you said not sure? Not sure, have to go to hospital. Right? Okay, so we are experiencing. Imagine that you are in the process, in the process of this sound going on, and we are experiencing. Right? Okay. If you are experiencing, if you think you are experiencing means you are experiencing the present moment or the past or the future? You are experiencing the present. If you experience the present is time or non-time? Time. Right? And time should have duration. Yes, no? Yes. Tell me the duration. Tell me the duration of that experience of the sound that you when you say I am experiencing, right? So tell me that duration. I'll hit it and you observe it. What's the present moment of the time that I am experiencing it? Okay. Okay, what's the duration? Okay, some of you may have lost. You may be lost. Okay, I'll do it again, right? Okay, listen and see, observe it. Be a very sharp observer and tell me. First question not to miss is, am I experiencing something? Experiencing sound? If the answer is yes, what's the duration of that experience? Which I am experiencing, not what I experienced, not what I'm going to experience, what I am experiencing. Okay, listen. Okay, anyone? How long? What's the duration of the present moment?
Half a second.
Half a second?
No duration.
Huh?
No duration.
No duration.
It was moving along with the sound experiencing.
Huh?
There is no fixed point. There is no fixed point.
No. Did you say? Imagine that you're going through this sound. Imagine the sound going. Are you experiencing something?
Yes,
Yes. You are experiencing the present or the past or the future.
present.
Very good. If you are experiencing the present, present should have a duration. Yes. No.
It depends because it's
No. Present means it's a time. Time should necessarily have a duration. It cannot be longer than 1 hour. The duration that you are experiencing cannot be longer than 10 minutes because it lasted less than 10 minutes, right? Okay. And it cannot be shorter than like 1 millisecond because shorter than 1 millisecond you cannot experiencing it. It's so fast. You getting it? It should be between 1 millisecond and like say to 1 minute. Because it lasts for like 1 minute and it doesn't last longer than 1 minute, so therefore it cannot be longer than 1 minute. And shorter than 1 millisecond, say 1/10 of a second, you cannot hear it.
No.
Because it's so fast. It should be between 1/10 of a second and say 1 minute. You agree with me?
Yes.
The experience, I am experiencing the sound. So that I am experiencing that duration, which we call as the present moment, in the case of this sound, should not be longer than, I think 30 seconds. 30 seconds, it cannot be shorter than 1/10 of a second. It should be between these two. Okay, anyone. So here saying that I cannot track it, right? It flows. I cannot track it. Anyone who likes to say something? What is the duration of that experience which you thought I am experiencing? Huh? 14 second. 14 second. Anyone else?
The moment I experience it, I get out of the trap.
No. So my question to you is just observe the present moment at the time.
The moment I check into the observe myself,
Huh?
I just lose the sense of time.
How?
I'm just alert now. There is no flow of time. I think that is the moment of
Okay, in your case, the moment of the time disappears.
the moment I observe.
The moment you observe to see how long the duration, the moment of time, the concept of time disappears. Good. One is 14 seconds. One, you cannot track the time. It flows like this. Anyone else?
Less than a second.
Less than a second. Okay, anyone else? Anyone else? Mithun?
Subjective.
I'm not asking subjective. I'm your subjective experience. What is your subjective experience? I'm not talking about generally. I'm talking about your subjective experience.
I cannot pinpoint a fixed duration from my experience of this.
What? You say it again?
I cannot pinpoint a fixed time duration on my personal subjective experience of this sound, which I just heard. For me personally, I cannot pinpoint or fix a time duration.
No. My question to you is: imagine that this sound is flowing, and you're observing what you are experiencing, right? So in that process, are you experiencing something?
Yeah, I'm experiencing.
Very good. You're experiencing what? You're experiencing the sound of the gong.
Yes.
Very good. When experiencing it, are you experiencing the present moment of the sound of the gong, or are you experiencing the past moment of the sound of the gong, or the future?
When we say experience, it is made up of past, present, and future.
No.
Okay.
This is not philosophy. It's very simple. I'm saying when you are experiencing, I'm experiencing the sound of the gong, this sound? Is it the present sound or the past sound or the future sound? With respect to the person who is experiencing it.
Since it is experiencing, it is not experienced. So
No, be very direct. So it should be present. This is what he's saying.
Yes.
It's present.
So-
Tell me, it's present. If it's present, so the point is that we should know how to follow the train of logic, train of reasoning, right? If it's present should have a specific time.
Yes.
Present means you should have a time, right? We're not thinking about 2016, it's past. We're not thinking about 2018, it's future. So we think about the present. Present means it should have a specific time duration, right? So we try to first learn what is that time duration of the sound of the gong. This is what we are trying to observe. Initially, even to observe that is very difficult. Slowly, the faculty of observing things will become sharper and sharper. Right? Okay. So now, do it again. So now that you become more clear what you actually should be doing, right? So these are the exercises that we have to do. Again, observe it and tell me, one, whether or not you are experiencing something. What is the question? Whether or not you are experiencing something. If the answer is yes, if the answer is no, then we have to go to hospital. If the answer is yes, then the question is, that duration that I am experiencing, that duration, which is the present moment, how long is this duration? Right? This is what we have to observe. Don't analyze, just observe. Okay, let's do this again. Okay, very good. Now, if you have the answer, like 14 seconds, or a little less than a second, or say what, half a second, or let's say I cannot track it, right? The moment I try to track it, it flows. Or the moment I try to observe it, the concept of time dissolves, right? So whatever is the answer, if the answer is not precise, if you say that, no one can actually give this duration to say this is the present moment. If this is your answer, you're already getting somewhere. And if you think that I cannot really track it, which means I cannot really track it, it dissolves, instantly it disappears. If that is what is happening to you, then our job is to go back of this thought. Present moment should have a time span. Because present moment is a time. Time means it should be either 1 hour, 1 second, 10 seconds, 1 millisecond, however tiny, there should be time span. What is that time span? If I cannot pause the time span, it should not be time. But it's time in its present moment. So this is what we need to work on, right? Still, your answer is not wrong. Your answer is not wrong. We will soon discover something else. Whereas those who think that you are able to grab at something and say that it's 14 seconds or it's half a second, it's a little less than a second, right? Whatever answer that if you got a specific answer, and again we analyze further, we'll come to discover that our answer is wrong. The fact that your answer is wrong is also not wrong. That is what will take us to understand that it's illusion-like. Okay, how? So let's say, if you think that the time duration of the sound, present moment that I am experiencing is, let's say, half a second. This duration half a second. This is also not true, because half a second is the time, yes, no? Time should necessarily have 3 parts. Beginning, middle and end. Beginning is gone. You agree with me? Beginning is gone. Because we are not concerned about 2016. I asked you to think about what you are experiencing. Beginning is gone. This is not what you are experiencing. You experienced. And the end is yet to come. end is what you will experience. We are not concerned about what you experienced and what you're experiencing. No, what you will experience. We are only concerned about what you. If there is something that you're experiencing, it should be 1/3 of half a second. Even 1/3 of half a second, this is also not true. Even 1/3 of a half a second, that is also time. You agree with me or not? Time should necessarily have a beginning, middle, and end. Beginning is gone, end is yet to come. And if you really experience something, it should be 1/3 of a 1/3 of a half a second. You go like this, you go like this, eventually you will come to a time span which is much shorter than 1 millisecond. You agree with me? 1 millisecond is how long? 1,000 of a second. 1,000 of a second, right? And 1,000 of a second, do you have that ability to experiencing that? 1,000 second? Okay, so some of you know that, some of you don't know this. Okay, so let's say we will do a quick exercise, right? So what did we say? What did we say? We said that the time duration of 1 millisecond, if something exists for 1 millisecond time duration, then we cannot experience it. We cannot know it. We cannot experience it. This is what we say. And then I'll be more generous than 1 millisecond, right? I'll give you time span, say like 1/10 of a second, and then let's see, right? Okay, so I'll show you something, and I will show you this, and it will last for say 100 times 1 millisecond, which means 100 milliseconds, which is much longer than 1 millisecond, right? And then you experience this and tell me what you experience. Are you ready? I'll show you something. You ready? What do you see? What is written there?
Shade of your black.
No, I showed you for 100 duration of 100 milliseconds. 100 milliseconds, if you cannot experience, how can you expect to experience 1 millisecond duration, right? I'll show you again. This time I'll be more generous. I'll show you for, say, 120 milliseconds, right? Ready? What did you see? Again, you did not see anything. Because why did you not see anything? Why did you not experience anything? What is written there? Because the duration is too short. You getting it? When the duration is too short, our mind, the cognitive mind, cannot operate to grasp at it and cannot experience it. So therefore now, from this, what we came to know is that actually what I am experiencing, when you go like this, the duration, if I am experiencing something, the duration should be less than 1 millisecond. And if something is less than 1 millisecond duration, I cannot possibly experience it. Yes, no?
Yes.
Now with this logic, tell me, what were you experiencing? What is that thing you say the flow is happening? What is that thing you are experiencing? You did not experience anything. You getting it? From this logic. And this logic is undeniable. You cannot reject this. You cannot reject this logic. This logic is a fact. It accords with a fact. Now there are two things. According to this logic, you have not experienced the present moment. Now according to the conventional world, you are experiencing. You're getting it? According to this logic, you are not experiencing the present moment. And according to the functional world, you are experiencing something. There is a contradiction. You're getting it? If you go into this analysis, at times you may feel dizziness with this analysis. This dizziness, haziness, dizziness coming to you means that you are going to proper track. Your analysis going in the proper track. Because we believe what we're experiencing as something objectively real. Now when you see, what am I experiencing? You're trying to go to the sound, right? You go to the object. From the object, what exists? Nothing exists, right? Everything exists subjectively. But when you try to observe, what is the present moment of sound? What are you trying to observe? You're trying to go towards the sound, right? You go to the object. As you go to the object, nothing exists from the object. You cannot find it. So this analysis, which tells us that you are not experiencing anything of the present moment, that is from the point of view of the object. But we feel the unease comes to us, particularly when you're able to follow this logic, reason so well, then a very, very uneasy, unpleasant feeling will come to you. Very uneasy feeling will come to us. So if that comes to us, which means that you are on a proper track, so that is going in clash with our ordinary, with our chronic belief that the sound which exists in time should exist, the present moment of the sound should exist from the object. That is happening. Clash with that is happening. You're not finding it, and we believe that yes, I invariably heard this sound. I am invariably experiencing the present moment. So this is what your chronic belief is telling us, and with this logic is telling us what the truth is. So the truth is that from the object there's nothing there as the present moment. And what we see as the present moment is all coming from the subject. Because coming from the subject is like illusion. The dream comes only by the power of your mind, nothing from the object. So even the sound is like sound. Which sound? Present moment of the sound is like illusion, all coming from a mind. If you come to know this, then apply this to the mind. The mind also flows in time. Mind also flows in time. Say, I am very happy today. When you say, my mind is very happy today, or you say, my mind is very unhappy today. Right? So this mind, we said that I am unhappy today, it flows in time. It flows in time, and time should necessarily have three components. And I'm saying it now. I'm saying it now. Now meaning present moment. I'm unhappy now, unpresent, the present moment. So where is this present moment? Just to analyze it. What I see is present moment, it should have a beginning, middle and end. Beginning is not present, it's past. End is yet to come. If there is something which I'm experiencing, it should be 1/3 of what thought I was experiencing, not the full. Even this 1/3 is also not true. That also is in time. That also is beginning, middle and end. Beginning is gone, end is yet to come, which means it becomes 1/3 over 1/3. You go like this, eventually it becomes shorter than 1 millisecond. Something which is an experience or a time, the moment of mind, which is less than 1 millisecond, you cannot cognize it, you cannot experience it. So what we thought we were experiencing is just illusion. When you actually get it, for example, say, I am unhappy. This unhappiness dissolves, right? The moment it dissolves, you feel that your mind is uplifted with such a delight, and the lightness of the mind will come to us. This is amazingly powerful. Initially, by the way, it could be a little scary. It should be a little scary. And if you want to try it, it's very precious. It's so precious. And by doing so, if you do feel the fear, and if the fear is quite unbearable and lasting, then I would suggest you stop it for the time being. You might need the support of the marriage accommodation. Whereas if the fear is bearable, try to do it continuously, and see that generally speaking, the fear will be replaced by intense peace. Right? The fear will be replaced because we continue, this fear is coming because that a new thought process, you're building a new thought process, you're bringing in a new thought process which accords with the rationality, the reality. And the old thought pattern, which is chronic, which is deceptive, that is grounded on ignorance, misconception, misperception. So now that newly developed thought process, which is grounded on the fact that is so more powerful than the habitual way of thinking. So naturally, the habitual way of thinking will become less and less powerful, and the newly developed thought process will become more and more powerful. And this when it start to take root in us, then it will start giving the peace in us, the peace which we never experienced before. This is extremely important on the practice. Okay, is there a question? Yes.
Pardon me if I'm wrong, Shila. Like you had said, when we take everything as an illusion of the past, we feel peace. So I would like to know, in order to be in that state, do we believe our significance in what we do is an illusion too?
Okay, this is a very good question. Okay, if everything is like illusion, then what is the significance of our role in the functional world, right? Is that also illusion-like? Very good question. Okay, this is a very serious matter, very serious question, is a very serious question. Okay, let's say dreams, right? Say you dream of being bullied by another 10 people, and another dream, you dream of you being presented with birthday gifts, right? Which dream do you prefer? Okay, do you agree with me that both dreams are deceptive? Yes. While both are deceptive, but one gives us peace, one gives us a pain, right? Likewise, say doing good things, doing bad things, both are equally dreamlike, but the dreamlike doing bad things, they only give us pains. Doing good things, although dreamlike, they only give us happiness. Of the two, we prefer the second one, right? So there's a role. So what role? Say your name, Arnam. Okay, illusion-like Arnam engages in illusion-like virtues, and illusion-like happiness comes about, which illusion-like I want it, right? So the dream misery, dream nightmare, and the dream happiness, I prefer the dream happiness. Yes, no? Right? You prefer that? Although both are dream, but you prefer that. Likewise, within the dreamlike nature, the good thing is that by seeing this dreamlike nature, what happens is that all our negative thoughts will go down, will dissolve, right? Because negative thoughts, they are grounded on the belief that things are all objectively real. Then, within the dreamlike, right, in the dream, if you're being kind to the dog in the dream, the dog also wags the tail and you're happy. And if you hit the dog with the stick, the dog will bark at you in the dream, right, that you don't like. Okay, likewise, even with the dream, conventional dream, the usual dream, right? Regular dream. So there also, if you do something good, good things happen. Bad, you do bad things happen. Then the unconventional dream, what is happening now? So there, the orderliness is even more strict. Orderliness is very strict. In the conventional dream, orderliness is there, but it's not so being well followed. But in the unconventional dream, orderliness is so strictly followed, yet everything's like illusion, right? If you do good things, only good things will happen. If you do bad things, and only bad things will happen, right? So because that this illusion-like Arnam wants happiness, what happiness? Illusion-like, right? Illusion-like. So when you get it, you are illusion-like happy. So the happiness is there. You have a role. And then you providing illusion-like assistance, right? Other people will be benefited. Other people will also be removed from the pain, right? So this is a very important question. And For this, the other side which we have to study is, on the one hand, illusion-like meaning from the object is all coming from the mind. Mind, right? From the object is all empty. In other words, it's all coming by dependence, nothing from the object. It's all coming by dependence. So when you say about things as all illusion-like, in a way we are saying that nothing exists independently. If nothing exists independently, what is the opposite of independence? Dependence. Things do exist. How they exist? Not by independence, by dependently. Right? So we see that, you see the emptiness of independent existence, illusion-like. On the other side is dependent origination. These two are the two sides of the same coin. By seeing emptiness, all our nightmare fears in the dream stops, knowing that is dream. Now seeing dependent origination, right? By seeing the dependent origination, then knowing that, for example, said that knowing that only if I'm kind to Arnam's parents will be happy, and I want to make your parents happy, right? So by knowing that your parents will be happy by dependence on the happiness of Arnam, so what will I do? Instead of me going to make your parents happy directly, I'll make you happy, and you will convey this to your parents. Your parents will be very happy, right? Because I know that they are all dependent origination, right? By knowing dependent origination, your happiness will grow. By knowing emptiness, your pains will disappear, right? So this is, whereas emptiness should not be seen as nihilism, because with nihilism, no pain will disappear. Instead, it can increase the pain. Whereas with seeing the emptiness correctly, pains will disappear. Seeing dependent origination, your happiness will grow, right? This is a very important point. And finally, what exactly is dependent origination, right? And what exactly is emptiness? That we have to study separately. Okay. Yes, Tejala?
Geshe, we studied that from higher tenet school point of view, production, abiding, and cessation are simultaneous and
Yes.
synonymous. Can you please speak about this more?
Okay, there is a movie screening happening at 5 and it's already 5:25, right? So the question is the same. When you speak about impermanent phenomena, the three characteristics are there. One is arising, abiding, and disintegration. Three things. So according to Vaibhashika, these three things happen sequentially, whereas according to the higher schools, these three things are seen as simultaneous and are synonymous. Exactly. What is arising itself is abiding. What is abiding itself is disintegration. So how can we understand this in the course of the higher schools? This is a good question. If you could remind me next time. Okay. Yeah, we'll stop here. After this is the movie screening of the Buddha episodes. So I don't know which episode is happening now. 50? 50. Okay, we're now almost coming to the close. It has 54. How many series? 55. Okay, almost coming to the close. Okay, let's do the end direction prayer. Page 309. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. The path of union of emptiness and compassion is lucidly explained by the protector of the Dharma and the beings of the snowland. You are the lotus holder, Tenzin Gyatso. We supplicate you that your wishes are fulfilled spontaneously. May the operations of evil thoughts and deeds of the negative forces of humans and non-humans who harbor malice through perverted prayers against the teachings of the Buddhas be totally vanquished through the power of the truth of the three jewels. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by Manjushri and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings of dependent origination in particular, even at the cost of my life.